why the swastika is an immediate identifier of a pathological personality.
Kyrie Irving getting set to go tonight. He has scored at least 22 in 6 of the 7 games he's played for the Nets this year. They'll need a lot from him at number 8 tonight on the road, taking on the Warriors, bottom of the hour here on ABC. And let's talk about Golden State. On Christmas Day, we had them. They were 27 and 6.
And the hammer and sickle isn't. There's actually a reason. It isn't just arbitrary. And I think maybe it's something like the Nazi is the guy who knifes you in the alley and steals your wallet, and the communist is the white-collar criminal who takes your pension. And you're actually more afraid of the first person than the second person, because the damage they do is more proximal and immediate and emotionally recognizable. But the second guy who takes your pension, for example, he's perhaps even more dangerous. But there's a bloodiness about the Nazi symbol and an immediate emotional impact that the hammer and sickle just doesn't produce. And some of that's because people are badly educated historically.
I think that's it. I think it's pure ignorance.
Well, I don't think it's just ignorance. No,
do you think that the people that are wearing those Che Guevara t-shirts really understand the history of Che Guevara, or do you think he represents this sexy South American counter-protest character, a guy who stands up to the establishment as we know it, a guy who's wearing a green beret, beret, hiding in the jungle, fighting against the oppressive dictatorship of America? I mean, that's what they're looking at when they see that image.
Well, the fact that historical ignorance plays a role in this is absolutely certain, and I think the romanticization of people like Che Guevara is exactly. I think you nailed that exactly. But I do think there's a deeper question here. It's like I was thinking in the aftermath of Charlottesville, many conservatives immediately divorced themselves from the Nazis. Ben Shapiro was a good example, right?
Yeah.
And it was very much reminiscent of William F. Buckley divorcing himself from the John Birch Society back in the 1960s. The right wing seems to be easier for the right wing to draw a line around the Nazis and say, no, that's not us. Partly because the right wing conservatives are better at drawing boundaries. But, let's say we wanted to draw a boundary around the radical leftists.
I'd probably say it a different way if I could.
Point to something. Well, on the right you say, well, you wore a swastika. Yeah, you're out of the club, man.
Right.
On the left, well, you believe, what's the smoking pistol? You believe in equity? It's like that's a smoking pistol as far as I'm concerned. But it doesn't have the same emotional punch as you wore a swastika. Test.
Yeah, you believe in equity and you refuse to define it. That would be...
I'm kidding.
Right, but I mean...
to me.
Right, but that's such a... There's no emotional punch in that. It's like, well, I'm not going to associate with you because you believe in equity. It's like...
It's too complicated.
Mm-hmm, it's right.
I do want to back us up here, though, because...
Kyrie Irving getting set to go tonight. He has scored at least 22 in 6 of the 7 games he's played for the Nets this year. They'll need a lot from him at number 8 tonight on the road, taking on the Warriors, bottom of the hour here.
I think we underrate the danger of, and I think Nazis are a red herring. There is something that actually does threaten to reemerge, and Charlottesville is a version of it. But I think because we have a cartoon understanding of what that protest was actually about and how many people are actually involved, we don't really see why this is a dangerous and contentious issue. And I think the answer is an evolutionary one that hasn't been spelled out. And because it hasn't been spelled out, it's very hard to point to.
I hate to keep interrupting you, but just get this right up to your face, because it sounds good to us, but the people listening online are going to have an issue.
Is that better?
Yeah, just when you turn to him, just turn the thing with you.
Okay.
Yeah, just get it. You always keep it a fist from your face. That's the best. Sorry.
That's all right.
So explain what you mean by this.
So my point would be that what took place in Germany in the 30s was a particularly visible, well-documented example of a pattern that is much more common in human history. And because this pattern emerges as a result of certain features of the way evolution functions, it is actually always a danger.
What did you say? No, I wouldn't do that.
What to do about it is
I mean, say it like that. I'd probably say it a different way if I could.
Why it occurs and what it means. And what I've been saying in lectures.
I mean, you can do anything.
Tyranny is
how the world's made, right? I mean, you can't.
And so there is a pattern in which
jump off a cliff, apparently.
Of prosperousness
again.
in which it appears that that thing is defeated once